America. People from countries around the world came to America, to New York Harbor, and entered the portals of their new lives. In 1884, Nikola Tesla, son of a Serbian Orthodox minister, stood on the deck of a ship and smiled with satisfaction. Here in this country, in this very city, he would one day change the face of the globe. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10, 1856, in Scintillations, in what later became Yugoslavia. His father, Milutin Tesla, was a stern minister, and his mother, Juka Mandic, was an inventor in her own right of household appliances. She was never photographed. His childhood dream was to come to America to harness the power of Niagara Falls. Tesla studied mathematics and physics at Graz, Austria, and philosophy in Prague, Czechoslovakia. He began his career as an electrical engineer with a telephone company in Budapest in 1881. It was there, as Tesla was walking with a friend through the city park, that the elusive solution to the rotating magnetic field flashed through his mind. With a stick, Tesla drew a diagram in the sand, explaining the principle of the induction motor. Before going to America, Tesla joined the Continental Edison Company in Paris, where he designed dynamos. While in Strasbourg in 1883, he privately built a prototype of the induction motor and ran it successfully. Unable to interest anyone in Europe in promoting this radical device, Tesla accepted an offer to work for Thomas Edison in America, where he set about improving Edison's line of dynamos. It was here that his divergence of opinion with Edison over direct current versus alternating current began. This disagreement climaxed in the War of the Currents, as Edison fought a losing battle to protect his investment in direct current equipment and facilities. This Edison plaque in Lower Manhattan denotes the first direct current power station in the United States. Edison built an empire on direct current, supplying industry, transportation, and households in larger cities with direct current electricity. These Edison lamps were weak and inefficient when supplied by direct current. This system had a severe disadvantage in that it could not be transported more than 2 miles due to its inability to step up to high voltage levels necessary for long-distance transmission. Consequently, a direct current power station was required at 2-mile intervals. Direct current flows continuously in one direction. Alternating current changes direction 50 or 60 times per second and can be stepped up to very high voltage levels, minimizing power loss across great distances. The future belonged to alternating current. Nikola Tesla developed the polyphase alternating current system of generators, motors, and transformers, and held 40 basic U.S. patents on the system, which George Westinghouse bought, determined to supply America with Tesla's electrical system. Edison did not want to lose his DC empire, and a bitter war ensued. This was the war of the currents between AC and DC. Tesla, with Westinghouse, ultimately emerged the victor because AC was a superior technology. It was a war won for the progress of both America and the world. Edison's home in New Jersey shows his comfortable life, and his place in history is secure. It was a full life that ended peacefully in 1931. After leaving Edison, Tesla opened his first laboratory on South Fifth Avenue in New York City. As Tesla's fame increased, many notable friends came to his laboratory and participated in his experiments. The American writer Mark Twain was especially intrigued. Robert Underwood Johnson participated in Tesla laboratory experiments where electricity of very high voltage harmlessly passed through his body. He said, "I was myself at that time the medium of the passage of an electric current of 1,000,000 volts of the Tesla system of high frequency, whereas I believe 2,500 volts of the ordinary current is sufficient to kill. Very high voltage of electricity passes superficially through the skin, bypassing vital organs like the heart and the brain, and is therefore harmless. This laboratory burned to the ground, and 2 floors of personally constructed and unique scientific equipment, along with his notes, were destroyed. The New York Times of March 14, 1895, interviewed Tesla just after the fire and reported the distinguished inventor's heavy losses, which, while financial, also delayed development of his new inventions. Robert Underwood Johnson, publisher of Century Magazine and author of Remember Yesterday and other books, and his wife, Catherine, were both friends of Tesla. They published many articles about him and his work. Robert Underwood Johnson wrote in his book, Remembered Yesterday, "Among the few persons whom I have met who I think are possessed of genius is my friend Nikola Tesla, the electrical discoverer and inventor. He was the discoverer of the principle of the rotating magnetic field. If he had done nothing else, this would entitle him to fame of the first order." Tesla was introduced to the Johnsons by Thomas Comerford Martin, Tesla's first biographer and the 3rd president of the American Institute of Electrical Engineers between 1888 and 1889. He edited and published a remarkable collection of Tesla's contemporary lectures. Tesla was gifted with intense powers of visualization and exceptional memory from early youth on. He was able to fully construct, develop, and perfect his inventions completely in his mind before committing them to paper. According to Hugo Gernsback, Tesla was possessed of a striking physical appearance, over 6 feet tall with deep-set eyes and a stately manner. His impressions of Tesla were of a man endowed with remarkable physical and mental freshness, ready to surprise the world with more and more inventions as he grew older. A lifelong bachelor, he led a somewhat isolated existence, devoting his full energies to science. He opened his second laboratory on Houston Street near Mulberry in Manhattan. It was capitalized with $500,000 with the help of John Jacob Astor and J.P. Morgan. Here he could work night and day to improve dynamos. It was here that Tesla experimented with harmonic vibrations, nearly destroying his laboratory and the surrounding buildings. Many pieces of equipment from this lab survive to this day in the Tesla Museum in Belgrade. In October of 1887, Tesla began applying to the United States Patent Office for a comprehensive system of motors, generators, and transformers of electrical power. Tesla introduced his motors and electrical systems in a classic paper titled A New System of Alternating Current, Motors and Transformers, which he delivered before the American Institute of Electrical Engineers in 1888. One of the people most impressed with this lecture was the industrialist and inventor George Westinghouse. This concept of a nationwide electric power system was just what Westinghouse was waiting for. Tesla and Westinghouse would make a perfect partnership. Within 2 months of Tesla's lecture, George Westinghouse had acquired the rights to the patents and to Tesla's personal services to help develop the patents into commercial equipment. Westinghouse became dedicated to promoting the polyphase alternating current system and felt that his best chance to introduce it to the public at large would be at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. The Columbian Exposition was the World's Fair commemorating 400 years since Christopher Columbus set foot in the New World. Located on Lake Michigan near Chicago to facilitate access by sea, road, and rail, it was a gathering of ideas, men, and technologies from every corner of the globe, with each country contributing its best of their industrial, cultural, commercial, and educational enterprises. The Renaissance style of the exposition buildings were unsurpassed in their architectural beauty. Ever the ingenious promoter, Westinghouse outbid Edison for the contract to power the exposition's lighting and electrical systems. Over 200,000 electric light bulbs were illuminated by Tesla's polyphase alternating current system. The Westinghouse display was an historic collection of machines and exhibits, all using the Tesla Westinghouse alternating current. It was a spectacular display of lights and energy which illuminated the exposition. Tesla's childhood dream was fulfilled with the harnessing of the power of Niagara Falls. In October 1893, a contract was signed with the Westinghouse Company to build the first 2 Niagara generators on Tesla's polyphase system. In April 1895, the first generators began turning. The plant became the electrical wonder of the world. The nameplate on one of the earliest generators at Niagara Falls lists 9 of Tesla's patents. In 1896, a 26-mile high-tension transmission line carried electricity to operate streetlights and industrial machinery in Buffalo, New York. This large bronze statue of Tesla was Yugoslavia's bicentennial gift to the United States in 1976. Members of the Tesla Memorial Society rededicate it each year. The archives of the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade holds over 150,000 documents relevant to Tesla's life and work, some of which are yet to be published.
I am the director of the museum for the last decade, and the museum, as you know, is now over 35 years old. In the museum, we keep a lot of things which were brought from the United States after Tesla's death by his nephew, Sava Kosanovic. The museum on the lower floor has 2 parts. The first part is actually part devoted to personal things, and it's a memorial part of the museum. And in that part, we have that famous sculpture of Nikola Tesla, which is made by our famous sculptor, Meštrović. The lower part of the museum is a part devoted to Tesla's life and Tesla's work, and there are many interesting things, from personal things, documents, pictures, instruments from the laboratories. Among documents